One of my viewers reminded me that even if I have these two IMs for a while, I haven't put up or put out any review or my thoughts about these IMs. I have actually reviewed this IM on the headphone list, but I haven't reviewed this one. Nevertheless, both these IMs are fantastic on their own. This one is a bit more expensive at $1,500, which is slightly on the higher side, given that their performance may feel slightly lacking, since this one does a slightly better job at being the more fuller, more entertaining, more cohesive IM. Now there are differences. Both have very similar sound signature, similar notes, body notes, presentation. They form similarly, but there are a couple of problems with the Solaris 2020. This is this is $400 more expensive, and the cable basically is the same. This is super smoky lids, but then again, this does not bring a lot of changes to the sound quality of this IM. And the differences that I was expecting from a $1,500 IM is not exactly present with the Solaris 2020. While the even the effect audio Axiom and Mest Mark II are slightly better than it when it comes to raw performance details and stuff. This is, I'm not saying this is bad at all. This has very good performance. The sub bass is deeper than the Mest Mark II. Axiom is similar when it comes to sub bass. The mid bass is well controlled. There isn't anything wrong with it. But then again, there isn't anything outstanding about it. It does what a flagship should do, but in my opinion, a flagship should have a bit of a wow factor, which this one is not exactly managing with mostly anything. The cable isn't wowing me. Now the build quality is good. This is smaller than the original Solaris, but then again, this bit really doesn't make a lot of sense. It could have been curved a bit more, but then again, this is what it is. Let's have a comparison here. So smaller, you guys can see this is smaller, much smaller, and very comfortable inside the ear. This is bigger. Just imagine, this has 1 dd 1 ba, this has 1 dd 2 ba. 2 ba, do one more ba need this much of space? I'm not exactly sure, but then again, who am I'm not exactly tuning these IEMs. But yes, the size of the Solaris can be smaller, even smaller. And the Dorado 2020. This is the IM that I felt is the most intriguing one of this 2020 series. This is fantastic. I really love this IM. This one doesn't have any obvious flaws, and it has more sub bass, more bass volume. It has the rumble, it has the power, it has the energy, it has the eagerness, the layered feeling. The texture is fantastic. This is an IM that will please bass heads, kind of bass heads. The notes have very good weight to them, and when compared to the Solaris, I definitely feel that the performance of the Dorado 2020 is better than the Solaris 2020 when it comes to bass. Lower end of the Solaris is okay, good, more balanced, but this one is fun and does what a lower end is supposed to do. This is very good when it comes to low end. Now when it comes to mid range, this one is slightly in the V. This is the V shaped IM. The sound signature is V shaped, but it does not lack in anything. Yes, the Solaris has a bit more transparency. Solaris has a bit more transparency. There is no doubt about that. But The gap is not big. If the Solaris is 100, this one is at 97. You know what I mean? Transparency. This one is just maybe half a dB or 1 dB uh, less energetic for the micro details. But then again, there isn't anything really setting this apart. This one is not forward with the mid range. This one is forward with the mid range, and that gives it a bit of edge. But presentation wise, details wise, sheer amount of details, yes, the transparency is slightly higher, but the amount of details is very similar with both these IEMs. Fantastic. This one, I'm really impressed with this IEM is that there isn't any obvious flaws to this IEM, none whatsoever. And the treble range is very similar. This one is slightly, Solaris 2020 is slightly energetic in the treble region, slight a bit more energetic than the Dorado 2020, but the difference is not big. This one is not missing out on extension or anything. Even in the ultra high region, the extension is fantastic, very good. Similar can be said about the Solaris, but why similar should be told about the Solaris? That is really baffling. This one is $400 more expensive. What it is doing different? It's more balanced. Okay, I get that. More balanced. Okay, that is okay, reasonable. More balanced, and the stage is slightly bigger in the x-axis. This one has a taller stage. The the height is much bigger than the Solar is. This one has a tall stage, very tall stage. X-axis is not very wide, and z-axis is good. Z-axis is slightly not good with this one, and the height is not exactly great with this one, but the x-axis is better, feels a bit more 3D, a bit more rounded. But then again, is it worth paying $400 more for this IEM? I'm not exactly convinced. If you really want to enjoy the music, because the presentation is similarly thick, similarly warmer kind of feeling. This one is slightly bassier, not slightly, a bit more, a lot more bassier. This one has the fuller body, the thump and stuff is fantastic on this one. This one is a bass oriented IM. This one isn't. This is a balanced IM. But is it worth paying $400 more for the Solaris 2020? I'm not exactly convinced until unless you are changing cables. When you change cables to something in the 300 $400 region, like the Lavri cable that I have, and the Evo 10, then things change. The changes that is brought to the Dorado 2020 is not significant enough, while the changes with the Solar is significant, is bigger than the Dorado 2020. If you are not doing that, if you are sticking to the stock cables are not bad either, but I'll have to admit the price gap is not exactly justified. So if you guys have any doubts, if you guys have uh, anything in your mind, if you want to know something more about these IEMs, fire me a message. So that's it. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day. Enjoy.